The lives of saints are often filled with wonder, but few are as haunting and redemptive as that of St. Julian the Hospitaller. Born sometime in the 4th century, perhaps in Western Europe or the Mediterranean, Julian's exact origins remain a mystery. What survives, however, is the legend of a chilling curse placed on him at birth. Some say it came from pagan witches, a prophecy that he would be his own parents' undoing. Julian's father, terrified, wanted to cast the babe away at that moment, but Julian's mother could not bear to see her gift taken away so soon. So they raised Julian until he was of age to learn of the curse. Exact age is debated. Perhaps he was 10, perhaps a little older. Either way, heartbroken, he chose to leave home, traveling as far away as he could, so that he would not fulfill the prophecy and avoid the terrible fate foretold. His travels took him far and wide, and the boy grew up into a strong hunter. She was either a wealthy widow or came from wealth herself. Together they lived in comfort, perhaps even in a castle. Meanwhile, Julian's parents, aching to find their long-lost son, began their own journey. By divine providence, they arrived at Julian's home while he was away hunting. His wife, unaware of their identity, welcomed them and offered rest in Julian's own bed. But that night, the devil seized his chance. As Julian returned, he was deceived into believing his wife had taken another man to bed. In a fit of rage, blinded by suspicion, he slew the two figures in the dark, only to discover they were his mother and father. Consumed by horror and grief, Julian abandoned his home and fled with his wife. Seeking penance, they eventually settled by a river. Some say the garden in France, others the Potenza in Italy. There, they built a humble home, ferrying travelers across the water, tending the sick, and serving the poor in acts of quiet devotion. Julian's story does not end here, though. One night, the devil, still intent on destruction, possessed a traveler who destroyed their home. Devastated, Julian vowed never to host anyone again. But soon after, Jesus appeared in the form of a poor peasant, seeking shelter. Julian at first refused, but then realized his error, embraced the man, and resumed his life of service. Sadly, Julian and his wife would meet the same fate as his mother and father when thieves broke in one night, mirroring the very fate Julian had once caused. Yet their legacy endured. The people, moved by their humility and sacrifice, honored them as saints. Julian became the patron of innkeepers, ferrymen, and travelers, a saint for those always on the move, offering refuge and a guide for those who welcome others on their journey. As a side note, there are alternative versions of this story. In some, Julian learns of the prophecy not from his parents, but from a talking stag or a mysterious peasant while out hunting. Other retellings portray him as a knight. And in fact, Julian was not widely known until the 1200s, when his story appeared in collections like the Golden Legend. So his life, like many saints, is shrouded in mystery. Still, his story matters. It reminds us that even saints can fall, but what defines them is how they rise. Redemption is not born from perfection, but from daily acts of compassion, humility, and service. Hospitals, inns, and chapels still bear his name. And in every soul seeking second chances, his story whispers, it's never too late to start again. Setbacks are not endings. They are sacred invitations to change, to grow, and to walk more closely with God. If you enjoyed this story or have a saint you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. Till next time, may your path be safe and your purpose clear.